I'm glad to be back again in Bologna, which is a famous ancient place of learning with the oldest European university. We all know how important education is. Education simply is the most influential tool to change human person and society. And it's growingly important in time of growing diversity. We need to live together, not only to exist. To exist is easier, but to live in full sense of living means responsibility, means sharing, accepting, not only tolerating the others. And of course, ignorance only breeds intolerance, and from intolerance we get very easily to conflicts which are so present today in the world. Diversity is really growing for many reasons. For example, globalization. It is something we need to take into account when we not only travel, but try to organize, to live in different connections, not only in trade or business, but also politically and internationally. And from this point of view, religious studies are crucially important, more and more. We simply cannot be literate or digitally grammar and religiously illiterate. Everybody has, even here in this hall, smartphones to make pictures, to record, or to simply communicate. We need smart people with smartphones, of course. But smart people are important. Knowing what's going on in the world, why diversity is rather a principle than a problem, a reality, definition more than a problem. Because we all are different. My son is different from me. We all are different, but we all are equal in dignity. Whether we come from Europe or Africa, from a royal family or homeless family, equal in dignity. And those who do not understand religion cannot understand what is going on in the world today. And especially if we don't understand abuse of religion, abuse, which is so frequent. The case of Mahatma Gandhi. This is fanaticism. This is not a problem of religion. Fanaticism. There were always in the history fanatics, extremists, fundamentalists. But the difference is if they are in the center of power, in the center of gravity, in the center of society, or at the margins. This is a huge difference for evolution, for society, for culture, for living together. So I think that this annual conference and the whole network, which is so great and growing, is important contribution to understanding and acting accordingly. Not to be just observers, lamentators, commentators, but actors, doers for better. Armando Baruco mentioned 20th century like without religion. Yeah, there were very strong, very influential, very bloody secular regimes. The most bloody dictators of the 20th century were secular dictators called Hitler, Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot. So the answer without religion is not more human. If secularism replaces religions or freedom in society by imposing secularist ideology, it's a tyranny. It's a problem for freedom, for democracy. So what is the best? Open, pluralist society with equal citizenship. With equal citizenship. Secular state which is fair towards all is a blessing for all, for religions, for non-believers, for humanists, secularists, for all. So I'm glad to be here, to meet many of you. One man especially I want to quote Alberto Meloni, because we worked throughout the year on two ideas or concepts. One was on human dignity and one on religious climate change. There was a sequence of conferences last year on human dignity. We wanted simply to dig deeper, and the result in December was a contribution to 70th birthday of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which should be not only remembered, but implemented in time of divisions, in time of questioning of the concept of the human rights in the world. And so it gave the birth to Punta del Este Declaration on human dignity for everyone, everywhere. I want to say that science must contribute to discovery and better knowledge of truth. This is the criterion, the objective, the sense of science, to know the truth, not semi, not lies or quasi, but truth. Because truth liberates. Truth is base of justice. And science and religion are two enormous forces in human history. Today, in the previous century, these are forces of civilizational progress when they seek truth, when they seek and promote common good for all. If not, we have a problem. And base of common good, criterion of common good, and objective of common good is human dignity of all, of all. And there is sense or meaning of equilibrium in society, balance in society, duties and rights, both rights and duties, freedoms and responsibilities. It cannot work. One-sided coin is not valid. Freedom without responsibility will cease to exist. That's the challenge of our societies. So where is here the role of religious freedom, or FoRB, freedom of religion or belief? Human dignity is foundational principle of all universal fundamental human rights. And human dignity is inviolable, inviolable. That's why we declare moratorium on death penalty or ban on in Europe. It's based on fundamental rights of each person, and these rights are undeniable. Freedom of religion or belief is very special, expansive human right. It's not above, it's not more, it's not the first, but it's litmus test of all human rights. Because it's freedom of thought, freedom of conscience, freedom to believe or not to believe, but also freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of ownership. Otherwise you cannot implement religious freedom or freedom of community. So when this is respected, many other rights are respected. And if not, then civil and political rights are abused as well. So basically, FoRB is a criterion of good governance. So we desperately need also, as Alberto used to say, religious climate change. Some messages have been given already, because according to serious data, religious freedom is a minority issue in the world. 73% according to Pew Research Center in Washington of the world population live in countries where high or very high obstacles or restrictions are imposed on religious freedom. And secondly, trends are negative. So situation is bad and trends are worrying. Countries like North Korea, Pakistan, but also India, Malaysia, Myanmar, Middle East, North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, people suffer there a lot. These levels of suffering or problems are from intolerance, through discrimination, to persecution, and even genocide. Yes, even genocide, which is a special category. It's called crime of crimes. different forms are in place, either by government harassment or social hostilities, or even non-state actors are very active against religious freedom. But there are also signs of hope, and I want to mention a few, and that's my message especially, to act against or for climate change, against the negative trends. Political, academic, and religious signs of hope. For example, European Union reacted to these mass atrocities, and that's why I stand here. Since 2016, when European Parliament adopted a very strong resolution against mass atrocities in Syria and in Iraq and labeled these atrocities as a genocide, there was a request also, inter alia, to nominate first ever permanent European Union Special Representative for freedom of religion or belief outside, so for international domain of religious freedom. In 2017, there was first ever Lorenzo Natali Media Prize given to journalists writing about religious persecution or persecution of atheists in Tunisia, interfaith dialogue in Burkina Faso. First time journalism and religious freedom. Since 2018, last year, we have several projects where we finance interfaith dialogue and cooperation and intercultural dialogue in several troubled countries and regions. Since last year, Denmark, United Kingdom, and Germany have the same positions with different titles: Special Rep, or Special Commissioner, or Special Envoy of Prime Minister Theresa May. So three major important countries established only last year representatives for religious freedom. You have, since 2017, Osservatorio at the Foreign Ministry. There was last year first ever ministerial summit on international religious freedom in Washington. Almost 80 countries participated. First ever summit on this agenda. And last not least, in January, recently, European Parliament in Strasbourg adopted very clear resolution on Special Envoy and the European Union guidelines for religious freedom of religion or belief, supported by 576 votes, which is overwhelming majority, saying, yes, we need to continue. This is something new. European Union, after elections, should do more and better. And that's good signal. Academic signals, or religious as well, in combination, was Amman message on the side of Islamic scholars as a reaction to 9/11 and Beslan, if you remember, a very bloody or bloodshed in the Caucasus in 2004. Very clear message, an important message. Then there was Marrakesh Declaration, 2016, on the treatment of minorities in Muslim-majority countries. Faith for Rights, Beirut Declaration, adopted 2017 in March under the leadership of United Nations Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights. There's a connection between rights and faith. And of course, European Academy of Religion 2016 established as a special contribution to scientific cooperation around religion. And last, religious are now very visible. You know, not many people read documents, encyclicals, fatwas, but they see pictures. They see, for example, or seen how top leader of Christianity, of Catholics, Pope Francis met with top leader of Sunni Islam in Cairo, with Grand Imam of Al-Aqsa. This was a very strong message in 2017 against the clash of civilization. And they repeated it again now in February in Abu Dhabi as a message of brotherhood, which is the language used by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have many rights, 30 articles, and only 2 duties. One is to behave in the spirit of brotherhood, of sisterhood, and the second is to observe duties towards community which we live in. And we can have, and we enjoy many rights if we care about those 2 duties. Last year in Pakistan, which is full of social hostilities, Paigame Pakistan, message of Pakistan was adopted or signed by over 5,000 imams and scholars. Very important signal from Pakistan to the Pakistan as well against violence, hatred, and hostilities. We need more cohesion. We need follow-ups of these declarations, materialization of very good intentions and statements. And we need to move from dialogue towards real cooperation against violence, extremism, against fundamentalism, against abuse of religion or terrorism. We need to get ideas into life, promote on one side freedom of religion or belief, but also on the other equal citizenship and pluralism. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 years ago, this network, European Academy of Religion, was established. 3 years ago, my mandate was designed as the first ever EU special envoy. It speaks not preferably about our imagination, action, or institutional creativity, but I think it speaks about our reaction to the unacceptable situations in the neighborhood, in the world of today, because it was a reaction to genocide. And our fathers promised never again, which means to act preventively against such inhuman situations or treatments. I'm sure that with such committed approach, we may be closer to importance of international religious freedom, freedom of religion or belief, and to know the situation better, but also to unite our forces to make this century more humane. It is possible, it is also important, and I wish us all to achieve this noble objective. Thank you.